back to episode 11 of Bodybuilders Amateur Hour. So we got Josh, co-host Alex, and special guests Antoine and Sarah. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Nice to have you
Welcome. Yeah, welcome, guys. How's it going?
It's going really good, actually. We're 3 weeks out and surviving. It's pretty good. Yeah.
So, for the people that don't know you or that do and maybe want to know a little bit more about you guys, you want to give a little bit of breakdown about where you're coming from, what you're doing, who are you, why the hell should people care?
You can start.
Sure. So I guess a little bit of our background. So we're both bodybuilders, of course.
Of course.
We both started our journey, I would say, around the same time, about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. And we had come together in 2021, and we met at the Atlantic Classics 2021. Well, I guess we met before then, but got together shortly after that show.
Nice.
And we decided to build.
Were you
a
like
business.
backstage in the posing room and you're like, oh, she's hot. look at that guy's biceps.
No, we were messaging for like 3 weeks before the show. It was almost a sure thing after the show.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Sorry to interrupt. I was like, that's what I was envisioning.
And so, yeah, after that, we had just continued to, build. We decided shortly after that, actually, to build a business together, which was a very bold move,
Wow.
together in a relationship. But we just saw qualities within each other that screamed, let's build a business. So we kind of took that and ran with it. And we're both online fitness and health coaches. And we have a very strong passion for helping others reach their goals. A lot of it is really on the health side. We really got into it from a lifestyle perspective in the beginning, and then we transitioned into including the contest prep side of things. I'll let you kind of go over maybe what we did for learning and education over the last year and a half, but we kind of hit the ground running right away.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So
Congratulations.
when we met, me and Sarah don't stick in the spot very long. So we just go to Toronto to learn. And from our Toronto trip, we moved around 6 times. So we were in Montreal, we were in different places in Ontario. So we took that time to really learn from other influencers and learn from other trainers all across the world, really. But yeah, our life is quite a journey. We're always traveling, always excited for new things.
But we knew when we got into the contest prep side of things that we had learned a lot through so many people here in the Maritimes. But when we went to other provinces and branched out worldwide, we wanted to learn practices and methodologies that they were applying, because we know that there's not any one recipe for success. So we just wanted to see what others are doing. So that's why we took the time to learn through other top Olympian coaches, a lot of physicians, dietitians, health practitioners. And that's when we moved back home last year. We decided that's when we're going to fully implement what we've learned now and all of the methodologies that we just taken in for ourselves. And of course, we became the guinea pigs of our own learning in the beginning. And it turned out really, really well, in the beginning. And so now our client base is growing, which is amazing. And we're able to continue to apply our techniques and methods with a huge health aspect in mind, and it's going really well for us.
Wow, that's amazing. I knew you guys did some traveling, but I didn't know it was like that intense.
It is pretty intense. We're actually leaving for Asia in October, so we're going to spend some time there to continue learning there as well, and just applying our business as well over there. So we're going to be there for several months. we're not leaving the Maritime. So if anyone's listening,
Yeah.
we're going away for good. We're just going away for a little part of the winter, and then we're coming back.
Nice. Yeah, you probably had some people sweating there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah, I said you can't get rid of us that easy. Don't worry.
No, we love the Maritime. The community here is huge. So
yeah,
I watch every single bodybuilding show, and I look at attendance. It's crazy that in Moncton, the shows sell out, but Fuad wasn't able to sell out his venue, with Ian Valier being a guest poser and Fuad being there, and the podcast being there. So can you imagine, like, how popular bodybuilding here and how much is a strong community?
Like, we support our community like 110%. It's so great.
Yeah,
it is. It really is.
Like, even
keep going, Josh.
I said even the natural shows here are like sold out.
Yeah,
which it's so great to see.
Yeah, I feel like almost everyone knows each other as well, and everyone's like friends, and everyone gets along. Like, the Maritime community is really powerful for bodybuilding. Like, you just see everyone, like, supplement stores, gyms. Everyone's very friendly because we traveled a lot, and it's not like that in other parts of the world. It's not like that anywhere else, to be honest. We went everywhere, and it's really nice to see, and it's very comforting for us to be here as well because of this community.
That's awesome. Alex, you're up in Alberta. What's the shows like up there that you go to? And you've been to some shows in Vancouver too.
Well, I haven't really been to any shows in Alberta.
Well, there's your answer. Like, I don't know.
So, but the shows in Vancouver are pretty quiet, actually. Never sold, and like, no one's even cheering or anything. No one's screaming, and it's kind of awkward.
And we have such a small population.
Like, when I competed back home in Germany, even all the regional shows were completely sold out, and the crowd would go absolutely bananas, man.
Really?
Especially during posing routines, they would usually completely lose their minds. Both ways. When a guy was great, but also if a guy wasn't great, just to support him.
Yeah, and that's really
because they maybe picked a great song or something.
Yeah.
But it creates a lot of hype, and it makes you feel really good, whether you're the competitor on stage or you're just in the crowd. Like, it creates a whole vibe around the scene.
Yeah.
So
and it feels good for a competitor too. I can guarantee when I went to my last show, I'm the most nervous person ever. Like,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but going on stage for me, I have so much anxiety. Like,
it's pretty rough.
Just hearing people cheer makes me feel really, really good. And this is one fear of me. I'm doing Toronto, and I never did a national show before, so I don't have this cheering anymore. So then now I'm like,
you don't have your squad with you. You're hundreds, but it doesn't matter. You still will look great. So, and that will bring on the cheers.
Yeah,
right.
I hope so.
I hope so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Alex can attest to this. So like I go and hit my back double bicep. It's one of my best shots, and then there's nothing. You don't hear anything. And you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
What do I? Yeah. I was like, oh, I've been in that situation, and it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, what does it look like back there?
A lot of beginners lose interest.
Right.
It's like, especially if you're on stage for the first time, you feel awkward already, and then if the audience is completely silent, it just makes it even more awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
That's why I like going to see all the shows. I like yelling for everyone.
Yeah.
Just so everyone feels a little bit good. I remember being that kid first time on stage, not knowing what to do. And it's good having someone just cheer a little bit.
Awesome. So that's perfect thing to go into. Our first question is about, I love asking this question for both of you guys. What was your very first experience like on stage? Like a little bit leading up to it, and then your experience on stage.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
And when was it?
My first experience was in 2019. I did the Nova Scotia show. I competed in bikini, and I hadn't really understood what true prep was really like, or what it meant, or that you probably should have done an off season before you I just decided that I was going to prep for a show and followed everything, perfectly to a T, did everything that the coach outlined within the program. But having reflected, and it was a great experience. I got first place in my bikini novice, and then I got, fourth place, next to the other girl. And so I felt really good because it was a bucket list item for me. And I was like, this is something I've always wanted to do, so I'm just going to do it. Now, reflecting back on that, I wish I had taken a little bit more time to kind of build into the category, come in a little later, but it was an amazing experience, and I had so much fun, and I clearly fell in love with it because I did 5 shows that year.
5 shows in your first year?
Yeah.
I went to nationals my first year, got first call out, so I obviously got better than a friend, but
you're meant to do something when.
Yeah, so I've completely taken it on as a passion of mine, and now I'm working within the industry and competing in it.
Amazing.
That's great.
So my first experience was a little bit different. So
yeah,
knew nothing about bodybuilding. All I knew is, all right, I'm getting too fat because I'm traveling too much for work. So I'm gonna need a goal to it. So I hired a coach, and obviously he puts me on a diet that I really don't understand. So I don't understand that peanut butter has calories, so I'm just chowing down.
Oh no!
I think it's healthy. It's peanut butter, right?
Right.
So we end up having 3 hours of cardio for 6 weeks because obviously I'm just a fat kid and I can't stop eating.
God.
Then when I get to stage, I obviously didn't understand the thing about classic physique shorts, so I get them done by someone that doesn't know what they're doing. So it doesn't really hide anything properly. So everything kind of wants to like pop out when I'm on stage. So I'm like trying to like tuck and not really do poses that can reveal anything. And I'm really shy as well. So you can imagine how much anxiety I had during that. I did okay. I finished 4th place out of 5 people. So I beat 1 person.
That's
not bad, right?
No, that's okay.
Right.
But with that being said, after that show, I was like, I'm never doing it like that again. I want to win. So after that, I did another show 3 months after, and I actually put in the work, and I did not do 3 hours of cardio because I kept going in, and that one I almost won overall. So I was
after 3 months.
Yeah, so that was 3 months. I knew I wanted to do this, and I stopped cheating on my diet because that was obviously the problem. And then I started taking it really seriously. But with that experience, it was actually kind of funny and still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I also didn't know how to pose. I no idea how to pose at all.
That's amazing. So you just kind of went out there and winged it a bit. And
oh yeah,
it was still came fourth.
Came fourth, beat 1 person.
Like, what year was that? Hopefully, I wonder who that was.
2016, I think.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
2016 or 2016, I think, was my first show.
So then you got hooked. That's the problem, I think, with this sport. Once you do it and you do half decent, it's just like it's hard to step out.
It is.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. So now you competed at the Gladiators. Both of you guys, you did the Atlantics and Gladiators.
Yep.
You took first, unfortunately. If anyone's listening, I came second to this guy, which hats off, man. I can't really complain. It was like, I've been told it was a coin flip, pretty much. And then looking back at pictures, I can be completely like honest and like bring it up and say, yeah, okay, that's cool. I see that. Which is, so no hard feelings. What's that?
What was the weight difference?
I was so I had to make my weight class for 182. I was 187 on stage after my carb up.
187.
So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I probably after my carb up, I was probably 181, 182. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. This show here, I'll be a lot heavier. I'm going to have a really hard time making
He's depleting right now.
Oh my God.
So what do you have to make weight in at?
182 for national for classic.
Okay.
But I'm not lying, and this is not a joke. I literally put 5 pounds of muscle during 4 weeks of after that show. And
that's
the reason is because I didn't really take any of the special supplements during the prep to wait for nationals, and we just applied them in.
Applied them to like after
Atlantics, and it's crazy. But yeah, my look will be a lot different for Toronto. But making weight is gonna suck. I'm doing a shitload of cardio. All my carbs are gone to make weight. It's pretty ridiculous. How much did you weigh this morning? What's that?
How much did you weigh this morning?
I was 187 this morning weight.
You're not too far off, man.
But I have to be 182 at 4 p.m. And I'm way leaner than the Atlantics too.
Yeah.
Like way leaner.
That's pretty amazing.
It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard. It's great because I love building muscle, but but it's to make weight for the Atlantics. I had to not eat for 24 hours. This one I'll probably have to not eat for a day and a half, to be honest, to make weight. And
wild.
And my carb loads are probably like 14,000 calories in 12 hours just to try to get that food back in. And it's pretty hard.
It's pretty hard. Tell everyone what you were doing like between the morning and night show for Atlantics.
Between the morning and night show?
Yeah, weren't you like pounding back food? You were flattening out afterwards and
my God, yeah, I was pounding food. So just for an example, a meal for me would have been like anywhere from 120 to 180 grams of cream of rice, added about 20 to 40 grams of honey, 40 grams of peanut butter, almond butter, 20 grams of coconut oil in that, muffins added to it, 12 ounces of French fries, beef, 140 grams of beef. So that would be one meal, and I would eat that every like 35 minutes.
Once he started,
yeah. I had to take laxatives to make sure to get it all out.
Food in, laxative out.
But
right, that was my next question. Like, how did you not come in with the big bubble gut? That's crazy.
But I'm also working with Camp Jensen, Justin Jacoby. And they know how to eat. It's freaking crazy. I never looked that big in my whole life. My legs actually put like 2 inches bigger than they are in like the off season.
Wow.
Peak. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. When they say they don't miss ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. So how did you find those guys?
What's that?
Were you using any insulin to get all those carbs in, or just because you've been so depleted for so long?
Just so depleted for so long. No, I didn't use any insulin at all. The only thing I am for insulin sensitivity is metformin. I take that most of the year. Yeah, so I keep it almost year round just to keep me really sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Are you guys able to kind of explain what that is and what that does? So people aren't just like out there looking for it. Like, oh, he took it, I'll take it.
Yeah,
he looks awesome.
Yeah. So metformin it's a diabetes medication for type 2 diabetes. It's used for someone that is extremely insulin resistant. So let's say your fasted blood glucose would be like in the high 6. the thing with bodybuilding is when you're bulking or even really high depletion sometimes will create insulin resistance. And when you become insulin resistant, it's really hard to drive the carbohydrates in the muscle, and it's very easy to store body fat. So it's really not good for bodybuilding, and it's extremely hard to lose weight. So the more insulin sensitive you are, the better your body will respond to building muscle and losing body fat. I think Dr. Oz talked about it too.
Dr. Oz. Not Dr. Greg. We don't get those guys confused.
Yeah. And I'm not a doctor, guys, so this is just information about myself.
Dr. Greg, Coach Greg, yep, whatever. Yeah. Dr. Antoine, sure. We're all doctors.
Yeah.
Sort of. We're all chemists and pharmacists, at least.
Yeah. 100%.
It's funny. Well, yeah, no, that's great advice. So yeah, to be taking any of that stuff, it would be under like your coach's supervision as well, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's everything does have side effects. So this can create bad headaches. You can get really nauseous. There's tons of different things. You shouldn't do anything unless you really know what it is. We're very lucky because we have a doctor in Ontario that guides us through these things. So this is really, really good. My metformin is actually prescribed, so I'm actually allowed taking it.
He tests his blood sugar levels every couple of days. Yep. We have a monitor at home, yep. So it's not taken without, constant monitoring.
Yeah, so it is prescribed, so it's completely fine.
That's awesome. Yeah. You sound like Ronnie when he was a police officer.
Makes no sense for the average person to take it anyway.
Yeah,
it makes really high into carbohydrates.
With that being said,
pancreas is releasing insulin for that.
Exactly.
Bottle the glucose into the muscle cells. But if you eat such an overabundance of carbohydrates, your pancreas might get tired, and then that's when you use metformin. Or if it gets too bad, then you have to take insulin.
Yeah, exactly.
Carbohydrates out of the blood system.
Yeah.
To reduce your sugar level.
Yeah.
Love it.
Does the amount of metformin you take depend on the amount of carbohydrates you eat, just like with insulin?
No, it doesn't work. It's a little bit different. It works with glucagon. So it's the... I'm not going to explain that right now.
That's fine.
Too much tongue.
Too scientific right now.
Too scientific right now. But with that being said, just an easy way to explain, it basically just works with that hormone instead of the insulin to help you become more insulin sensitive. When you add insulin in, it just takes the carbohydrate and just drives it in the muscle or drives it in the body fat.
Makes sense.
All right.
So, Sarah, what does your diet and training and all that look like right now? What's changed from the Atlantics to now to the Toronto show?
So for me, my diet is actually, so I'm still eating quite a bit of calories. My calories are at 2,500. So I'm still properly fueled, and it's still a deficit for me. So I'm still tapering down. I am quite a bit leaner now than I was at Atlantics, and that was the goal. We didn't want to completely shred me for the regional show. We wanted to, kind of save some fuel in the tank before we go to nationals. So now I'm in a bit of a depletion, or not a bit, I'm in more of a depletion now. And training is still extremely intense. I train with Antoine.
Yeah,
we do all our training sessions together. The wellness category is still focused on, continuing to lift really heavy, especially lower body, as we know, because it's the offset.
Good.
Yeah. So lots of glutes, lots of legs. But still, strength is still really high right now, which is awesome. Energy is good for most of the day.
Fantastic.
Really good. But
exactly 2 hours you're at the gym.
What's that?
Exactly for 2 hours you're at the gym.
2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I keep my energy. 2 hours at the gym.
Exactly.
For the day, just tired.
But it's been really exciting because I loved my look for Atlantics. It got me my win and my overall, which I was really happy about. And now I'm really gunning for that pro card at nationals, and I have no idea what the competition looks like. I've only come across a couple of people by chance because it really doesn't matter. I can only focus on myself and what I'm bringing. So we've been very diligent on what my physique looks like, and I check in every 2 days just to make sure that everything is on track and on par. And we still treat it like I'm a client. I submit my check-ins through the app. He reviews them. He gives me feedback.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's completely separate. Like, we completely separate relationship from client, and he treats me like a client, and we love it that way. It's good.
That's huge, because I posted a thing on Instagram like I always do, and it's like ask Antoine Sarah a question, and then I get replies. And probably about 15 of them are like about your relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So we'll get into that in a bit, I guess. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's really cool. So you're coming in a little bit leaner, you said? And
yeah, so I'm going to have a leaner look, and it's going to help us fill me out a lot more. So I'll have a nice crispy look and nice and full.
The leaner you are, the more you can fill out. Because what happens if you try to carb up when you still have body fat, that body fat holds water from those carbohydrates, and it just makes that soggy, gross look.
Soggy. You don't want to be soggy on stage.
I don't want to be soggy.
But if you're hard and that skin is really tight, you can really drive food and look really full and solid. So the conditioning is the only way to truly peak someone. If someone's not fully conditioned, it's virtually impossible to do it. There's no technique, tricks you could do it. Everything's just a gamble.
I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna throw up a couple pictures from your Instagram. Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. See
I
what
haven't
we can.
seen any.
Yeah, I don't think Alex is. Let's see here.
Oh, I like that picture.
Oh, you like that one? That was a nice one.
That's my favorite.
There he is.
There he is. Let's see if I can get. Let's make this a little bigger. There we go. You can see. You guys can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick photo. When was that?
Yeah, that's nice and lean.
That was not too long ago. That was probably the beginning of the week. Yeah.
Nice. Ron would say splits to the hips.
Ron Parslow, yeah. That's awesome.
Ron Pop, he's all about that. He always wants splits to the hips.
Oh, right through. Yeah, right through. That's awesome. Then we got this one, a little before and after.
Key to wellness. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That's a huge transformation. Holy smokes, the legs.
How much muscle did you put on this year? Stage weight?
Stage weight, 20 pounds.
Right. Way to go.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That.
Yeah. 3 leg days a week for the whole year.
Yep.
Never. Oh, that sounds horrible.
Oh, I love it. Training legs are my favorite. Thank God, right?
So you're known as, what is it, the Instagram ass queen or something?
The glute queen.
The glute queen. So they were teasing Sarah at the show there a little while back about all her Instagram photos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I had glutes like that, why wouldn't you, right? Why would I be doing it?
Gotta show off the hard work, right?
That's amazing.
I'd be walking around like that all day.
Oh, there you was, yeah, walking around, yeah.
Face people.
Do you find?
Oh, go ahead.
Are you loving your tattoos? Do you find that's any bit of a hindrance when you're on stage?
So that's a good question, because I got most of my tattoos before I started competing. And when I decided to get the tattoo on my glutes and leg, like, I wonder if that's going to impact me, right? And it's still a consideration of mine. So my left side, which is the mostly tattooed side, is one that I don't like to show. And of course, in wellness, you have to do quarter turns now. Right. And because you didn't have to, so I could hide it completely, or mostly. Yeah. And so now I have to show it for at least my quarter turn. And I'm hoping that it doesn't impact me, but there's, and it's not that there's prejudice against it or bias, but if it goes down to a comparison with me and somebody else, and the only thing that's holding me back is the fact that my tattoo might be hiding something, then I'm afraid I'm going to lose it, right?
It'd be a little frustrating. Yeah. But yeah, like, again, it's very subjective. And what's that?
The possibility is there, definitely.
Right. Yeah, but can't change it now. So
just do what you can.
We just got to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Come to that point.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Just have to be undeniably good and go with that.
It's already backside's really hard to beat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Especially the hamstrings, crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's pretty sick. Yeah, so let's see here. I'm gonna just jump in. What are we at? Oh my goodness, we're flying through this. I'm gonna just jump into a couple of questions. That's cool. We answered that one. Any advice for like couples looking to do a competition together? Like, I've heard that, competitions can be like a relationship ender if one person isn't supportive and the other one's like all in. But if you guys are both all in, how do you deal with supporting each other while trying to be selfish and working on yourself? And like, how like bodybuilding is a very selfish sport, right?
Yeah, we say that all the time.
But how do you be selfish but yet still have to like give to each other?
So there's two ways of looking at it. So this is the way that we act. It's we don't mess up. So me and Sarah are just perfectionists all the time. It's very easy to follow. But with that being said, everyone has a different mindset, and bodybuilding is different for everyone. Mm-hmm. So the biggest advice I could give personally is, yes, it's a selfish sport, you do yourself, but don't end your relationship by pushing your partner to do something they don't want to. Mm-hmm. It means if they're slipping or something, don't make them feel guilty. Try to motivate and help them. And if it's creating conflict, just push it aside. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to break a relationship for something that it does matter, but it doesn't really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your partner should be the number one. For me and Sarah, it's a lot different because bodybuilding means everything to us. But some people are just doing this just for fun. This is a career for us. You know what I mean? So it's easier to be harder on each other. But let's say you've been with someone for 20 plus years and you're like, oh, we're doing this show. One person gives it 100%, the other person gives it 20. It's just not the place to go and try to rip on them for it, because maybe it's just not for them. You know what I mean? And the relationship should always be number one, the most important thing.
You can only really control the things like within yourself, right? Like he says, you can't help on the other one if something's not going the way that you want them to do something. You just have to kind of control what you can and let some other things go. And I guess to add on to that, the other piece is obviously, when you're in a calorie deficit and you're training hard and you're tired and, things feel different and difficult and mood swings and all these things.
Oh, yeah.
And so these things come up with Antoine and I. Like, we are not perfect beings.
Heck no. Yeah, I totally, for sure.
Well, we
communicate all the time. We take specific times to reflect on our behaviors, communicate how we're feeling so that the other person knows. There's never any guessing, because sure, I'm going to have a bad day or he's going to have a bad day, but it's not about me and it's not about him.
No.
So it's like, sometimes it's about giving the other person space, and then sometimes it's about being there for them, and being very self-aware of yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't have self-awareness, if I'm projecting something on him and it really has nothing to do with him, it's just myself, he's going to tell me, like, babe, take a minute and think about what's going on.
Yeah, no, 100%. A big thing too is people forget about intimacy when they compete. So yes, it becomes very difficult after 5 weeks. Around the 4 weeks out mark, it gets a little bit harder. But the thing is, you can't forget, and you have to try to bring it back. Like, for example, me and Sarah already have things planned after the show that we're going to spend time together. You know what I mean? To bring that intimacy back. You know what I mean? Because it's really important. Like, you know what I mean? You can't forget because you just didn't do it in a while, right?
Right. And you still have to make conscious effort, whether it feels like it's like affection might feel like forced because you're like, oh yeah, I haven't kissed you in a while.
Right.
Like you're just busy or you're scattered or you're foggy or whatever, right? But you have to think about these things and you have to make the effort, whether you think it feels forced or not. You can't lose it. And you have to have a plan to get it back after.
That's amazing. That's probably one of the better couples explanations I've heard, and ever probably.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. Well, it's nice because usually we'll hear one side of it. What's that?
I just said I hope it's helpful.
Communication is key.
Communication is always the key. Me and Sarah, every night, we talk about our plans and our future and everything we plan on doing. We even created a list of goals and things we want to achieve in the next 10 years. When we created this list, we started this a year ago. We're already at year 5 of that in 1 year.
So you've knocked off so much stuff.
So
that's wonderful to start seeing. Wow.
Yeah. So just creating these lists and creating goals, it always creates excitement in the relationship, right? I find that people are they kind of make something boring and they don't think about the other person sometimes. And you want to make the other person feel special. And making these goals and making these efforts are very important.
Oh, man, that's wonderful. That's super smart. That's really nice. No, it's fantastic. So saying all that, then who trains harder at the gym?
Sarah.
It's like who?
Sarah will
Good answer.
I had to make Sarah stop because she trains until she cries and she won't stop getting hairs. I'm like, babe, it's failure, but maybe let's tone it down like 10%. Don't rip something. She's totally crying at
crying through my sets. I actually tore my quad 3 weeks out of Atlantics.
Oh my god. I'm like, okay, we need to back off a little bit. I'm like, you're training with me now.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I never see anything. It's like I go RP 9, RP 10, so it's like RP 17. I didn't even know it existed.
Gotta build the glutes, right?
That's so awesome. All right, that brings me to something. I have a question to ask about female training. There's in our gym here where I'm from, we might have my wife and maybe 1 or 2 other females in the gym that actually train hard, visibly. You can see them pushing, you can see it in their face. You can just they're going to failure. But there's 40 or 50 other females in that gym training. Why do you suppose that is? Where there's it's such a low percentage of I don't know, I don't want to sound ridiculous, but such a low percentage of females that will take it to that limit.
So my perspective on this, based on coaching several females for either contest prep or even lifestyle, is that it's a lack of confidence. It's a lack of confidence to push the weight heavy because we don't want to get hurt. Because if I get hurt, then I can't do this, I can't do that. And I find that a lot of females just don't recognize their own strength. So I try to, motivate and encourage, explain how it should feel, explain when you should stop, not at RP17.
No.
But try to motivate them to push harder and start tracking, weights every week, like give them encouragement to go heavier on certain exercises. But most of all, explaining how it's supposed to feel, or how I feel it and how you connect to it from like that mind muscle connection standpoint. But then also kind of drive them to say, like, if you want to build muscle, you got to train heavier.
I know a lot of females, friends of mine, that will go in and just, that's their goal, but they don't take that next step up. They don't have like, so maybe some don't have like the person in the coach or the person in beside them saying, you can do this, you can trust yourself.
So I think that's missing is for males, there's so many male fitness training influencers. I think that girls need an influencer as well that they can trust and learn how to do it. I think it's just a lack of education on it and not knowing what it is. Because for an example, if you would see me train at a gym and I wouldn't go to failure, you would probably be, Josh, like, you got to step your shit up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're not going to go say that to Sarah at the gym. Like, you know what I mean? It's just by being respectful, right?
We're not even allowed to look anymore, so it's fine.
So it's like, it's just an education thing. But the thing that's great about Sarah and some of the girls on our team, they do train failure now, and especially here in the Maritimes, they train hard. They go hard now, but we got girls gaining like 20 pounds in a year.
Yeah.
But it's
that's so
it's
so good to see. That's yeah.
But
how do we take those and like make that into more of like a wide stream mentality? Like
that's interesting. Because that's our
we're working on it.
We're working on it. So we got a plan in place. So we got a app that's going to be released probably late 2023, early 2024, and it will be something based for educating females on exactly that process.
Well,
so it's our business.
Hit us up when we can help you out.
It'll be really good. But with that being said, was that boat too one day. She didn't know what training to failure was.
We froze.
Oh, what's that, Alex? Oh, I think we're good now. What was that, Alex?
Yeah. What I've noticed over the years, well, from my experience with training girls in the past, was that the majority of them were just mistaken volume for intensity. So that's like what I've experienced with the majority of it. That they just thought, if I do more of it, then it'll be more intense, obviously.
Yeah.
Not really paying attention to what they're doing.
So
he's like, Ron said that he noticed that a lot, that the majority of people they're exercising, but they're not really working out. So difference meaning that people that are exercising are basically going through the motion while moving weight, compared to working out where you're actually paying attention to what you're doing and really emphasizing the muscle you're targeting to train.
Being intentional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
The biggest thing is for girls, it's you don't really need to go and add a lot of load. You can also use volume as well, but the most important thing is build new adaptation. So by building new adaptation and fully engaging actin and myosin, so fully contracting your muscle fibers, is where you're going to actually build a full muscle. By that being said, building new adaptation, it means like going more reps on a certain weight. But to build new adaptation, you only build adaptation on when you're at RP8, RP9, meaning failure sets. So you have to get better at those failure sets. So let's say hypertrophy training can be from anywhere from 6 to 25 reps. So there's actually, science shows that it doesn't even matter. It's really those 2 reps at the end that will build muscle depending. So even if you wouldn't go heavy, you would still build muscle, but you really want to build adaptation on those last reps. And the way you would build adaptation is you would increase your load, which is your weight weekly, or you would increase your volume. So you can't increase your volume to 100, but you can always increase your load to keep building. So what people usually do is they don't build new adaptation, they become repetitive. So they do the same thing over and over again, and they just kind of stay the same.
Yeah. Amazing.
Very well said.
Yeah, very well said. That's good. But do you find when you're hitting hypertrophy training, but you're up in the 20s and 30s, that also shapes the muscle quite differently? It gives it a different look.
It depends. Like I did a lot of courses on hypertrophy training, and I couldn't see anything with different shape. It's all based on the range of motion. So it's not really the volume and range. It's really fully contracting actin and myosin. It's like, and that's what shapes completely your muscle. Because think about it this way: if you're engaging fibers, you're just engaging fibers. And what happens when you reach those? How could I explain this? So if I lift up a pen and I go like this and I lift it up, I do curls.
Reverse a slight bit to, yeah, there you go.
There we go. So I lift the pen, I move it up and down, and I do bicep curls, okay? So my body knows I don't need to use all my muscle fibers to lift it up right away. So it only engages small muscle fibers in my bicep. But if I do it 1,000 times, those small muscle fibers will get tired, and more will need to be used. And at the end, when I'm at that failure set, all my fibers are getting contracted. And if I'm doing full range of motion in the muscle, all my fibers in the muscle will be contracted, and I will build new adaptation to that muscle. So that's how you would shape your muscle. The problem with people that don't shape a muscle properly is just the range of motion. So that's usually what happens. So it doesn't matter if you're deadlifting 5 plates or doing 2 plates for 26 reps. It will build the same amount of muscle in the same shape, but the only difference is the range of motion. So if I'm not doing my deadlift properly, and I'm not engaging my lats when I lift, and I'm not promoting my chest up, and I'm not squeezing my glutes at the end, that's where I'm missing the shape of the muscle.
See that? I could definitely see your point of view. Sure. Very interesting. It's a little bit different than pretty much everything that I've heard.
Really? It's so where I learned this. So it's so I worked with John Jewett. I'm working with
Camp John's good. He's good.
So I did all his courses. I know John Jewett personally. I'm working with Jacoby, Matt Jensen. We're big fans of Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett is an amazing hypertrophy coach. He is wicked. He's just amazing. So we learned a lot of information from him. We met Justin Shire as well. He's super nice, very big fan. So we learned a lot, especially the training aspect. We took the last year and a half to really learn everything. Also, one of my best friends, Guillaume, he has a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, training specialist. He's super intelligent. We train at another gym, Maximum Performance. Maxim is the #3 world strongest man. Extremely intelligent in training. He teaches us a lot of the hypertrophy and strength training as well. So it's really a big passion of ours to really learn this training aspect.
Get it right.
Yeah, because we did it wrong for a long time.
Oh, I think most of us have, for sure. And it sounds like I'm still doing it wrong. So
I only learned how to train, I'm going to swear to God, 8 months ago.
Yeah. We're still new. We still learn all the time.
Yeah. And I still have Maxime and Guillaume being like, man,
you do that wrong.
I did a deadlift the other day, and Maxime's like, why are you
doing it that way?
Why are you doing it? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, repping out 400 pounds. Like, what's wrong? He's like, because you could do better. So I'm going to show you how to do it better.
That's so cool to have that in your pocket. That's amazing.
Definitely.
But also you put it there, so you did all the work for that, which is fantastic. No, yeah, I'm not saying I don't disagree. It's just something very different that I haven't really come across in the literature and everything that I've read, and from the people that, like, probably Alex and I, like the older school people that we that we communicate with. So it's slightly different, but doesn't mean it's wrong. It sounds awesome. And obviously it's working. You guys look fantastic.
In order to get the right or the perfect look, I think you need to train to failure at both rep ranges. Low, like 6 to 8 or 6 to 10, but then also 15 to 25. And I strongly believe that a muscle looks better if you do it both. You end up being able to have more separations and striations and more cuts compared to if you were just to train to failure at a lower rep range. And Dorian Yates is a good example for that. He only trained at a lower rep range, and even though he was inside out shredded, you didn't really see deep separations or striations anywhere. Whilst if you look at a guy like Branch Warren, for example, who also trained super heavy, but also did a lot of reps and volume, he was dense and rock hard, but also had a lot of deep cuts, separations, and striations. So I think you gotta do both.
Yeah, the reason that I saw you do both is you cannot do as many failure sets if you're going super heavy, because you're going to be super tired. So Dorian Yates didn't train very long. You know what I mean?
Because it was very short sessions, right?
He was really
exactly.
But he didn't build a lot of adaptation. But with being, like you said, that's completely correct. You do 6 to 8 to 12, and then you do more volume at the end. You're able to build more failure sets to your workout without creating injuries and for a longer period of time.
So in that training style, what would like a program look like? Would it be like, would you go heavy week, light week, heavy week? Like, or are they stagnant, or how would your training set up?
So training's completely different for everyone, but I'll explain what I do. So I start with activation exercises to activate my muscle as well. So let's say I'm doing back. I'll do dead hangs and seated pullovers to really engage my lats, to create blood flow in my lats. Then I'll do a heavier compound exercise, a row or a deadlift. I'll bridge to sometimes a second compound exercise if I'm not too tired. It depends. I'll do 2 more back exercise pull downs, or I'll do a supinated row, depending if I want to engage lower lats or more of my trap, erector, rear delt area. But this is pretty much the pattern I do for most training programs. I'll do an activation, a heavier lift, more of a volume set. Then I'll do sometimes depending on the muscle, like more of a stretch activation, like something like a fly for chest, just to really the blood flow. But
do you do with like time under tension with that one, with stretch activation?
So everything I do is 2 or 3 second negatives. I don't do any exploding reps whatsoever on anything, even deadlifts. Especially deadlifts, when I do 4 plates, it's 3 second negatives down. Just for the fact I really focus and engage that muscle. I'm always putting time under tension in it.
Good.
Yeah. So I don't and I don't do anything fast. Well, I see big guys doing it. I don't have a problem with it, but for my training style, I just don't do it at all.
Nice and controlled.
And that would that go for both of you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So saying that, do you find there's any differences in training between the both of you? There's no girl workout. There's no guy workout.
So, do you want to say it? I'll let you talk.
So I do follow, like right now I'm training with him. So what I do, I don't need a big chest. So I limit my chest exercises. I have different development in my back that I don't need to further develop. So I focus more on my glutes, which are never going to be overdeveloped.
No.
So I do focus more on lower body dominant. So on the days that we have some upper body that I don't need to do, like chest, then I'll incorporate different lower body exercises depending on the day of the week and when I've had enough recovery and rest from training lower body from before. Or I'll take an extra rest day because I may not need to do the upper body.
But with that being said, for Sarah, when her upper body will be complete, because wellness is not a class that is really criteria. They don't have much criteria on the upper body. This would be a wellness training split. It would be rest. It would be lower body, rest day, lower body, rest, lower body. Next week would be the same, and you add one upper body day, and that's all a wellness competitor needs after they have
that. Yeah. So I'm still adding size right now because clearly I'm not a pro yet.
No, so she still needs some muscle maturity in her upper body. But for example, we have to back off on her shoulders because they're growing really fast. Her lats are really wide, but we could build a little bit more erector, more rhomboid area just to complete the back. She needs to strengthen her lower back a little bit, but everything's starting to get really complete. So we'll really focus on the lower body.
Yeah.
All right.
But I still train heavy and hard, just like the guys.
She's very strong. It's crazy. Man, we're doing hip thrusts. She's stronger than me.
That shit's impressive.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Right. Yeah, I just want to point that out because we get that a lot, right? About like female and male workouts and I see partners that go to the gym together, but then once they get to the gym, they're like, boo, and they separate. And one does, they find like Alex.
I guess it depends on what your goals are, right? So
yeah, I guess it depends on the goals for sure.
If I decided to stay in the bikini category, I wouldn't be able to train with Antoine all the time because my muscle development would cap off at a certain point, right? And I wouldn't be able to continue to build new adaptation. I'd just be kind of refining my look.
Exactly.
So the fact that I'm in a category which requires a lot more muscle development, it allows me to continue to train with him, which I really enjoy.
And it helps that I have to work on my glutes. So I train glutes 3 times a week right now.
3 times a week.
Yeah, 3 times a week. I'm not even joking. Good mornings, deadlifts. I'll do RDLs, hip thrusts. Yeah.
It's always fun to get a good spot too, so that's nice. Yeah. A little bit of extra motivation and testosterone for Antoine when he's going.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. All right, well, we still got a lot of questions to blow through here. It's getting kind of late, so let's do a couple here if that's okay.
Yeah.
Pick out the 3 best questions.
The 3 best. Oh man, I don't know.
Come on, dude.
Let's see. There's Laura. She wrote. She's like, "How do I get my hands and glutes to look like yours, Sarah?" What do you?
Well,
I think you just kind of said it, but
you just recap on the style of training. Going heavy and hard.
Yeah, heavy, hard.
Consistency. You have to fuel yourself.
Donuts.
What would you say if you were to pick one exercise that you would attribute your glute gains the most to? Which one would that be?
Hip thrusts.
Hip thrusts? Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you do that properly without engaging your back? Because I know a lot of people just kills their lower backs.
Oh, can I explain it? I want to explain
it. You want to explain it? Because you just learned it.
All you have to do is keep your chin down and look down when you go up.
You move your whole torso with the movement of the weight. You keep yourself straight, and you keep your chin tucked, and you move with the weight down, and you come back up with it. You treat your back like it's like a board, right? And you come down.
Keep as straight as possible. The only thing that's is moving is the hinge, your hips.
Yes,
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
plant your heels
and push through your heels.
Yeah, and it's done. Game over for those boots.
I will try that tomorrow. Thanks. It's like someone someone wrote in, how have you two not killed each other yet? I think you kind of already explained that one.
Our communication, our
communication.
We still haven't fought in like forever.
No, sometimes we get like this close, and then we're like, wait, let's not do that.
Yeah, I think it's a year
always try to be rational.
Yeah, I'm on the best.
It's like self-awareness and communication. If
extra cardio, go for a walk, leave. I gotta go for a walk. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had issues in the kitchen in fighting over meal prep stuff?
No.
Do you meal prep together?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's very helpful with doing the dishes, and I do most of the cooking, like for the meat, but he prepares his own meals for the day.
Oh yeah.
Like he's very self-sufficient.
Yeah.
He's an adult.
We help out, but we don't expect anything from the other person.
No.
But yeah, everything works perfectly fine.
Oh, great. So no expectations, like coming home. Like if you there's a big Tupperware of rice and you took all of it, Sarah, and Antoine needed it for later that day, and it's already gone, and you open the fridge, he's like, "Where the fuck is my rice?" That doesn't happen.
If we would finish it, we would probably make it for the other person.
Yeah.
So
we eat the same foods, right?
Yeah.
So when it gets low, the other person just kind of starts the next batch.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I have a friend that's competing, and he has a problem with that. So he prepped a bunch of chicken, and all of a sudden he goes and opens the goes to look for his chicken the next day, and it's gone, and his partner's there like eating a wrap. He's like, "Where's my chicken?
I would never.
I needed a chicken in 20 minutes."
And neither would he.
No.
Because we both know that we're going to need it.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex? Do you and Mel?
No, not really. We're both eating the same food items, and other than what I've got on my diet, there's actually nothing other in the kitchen, to be honest with you. Like we got one golden rule: if you want to eat something that's not on my diet, you have to buy it and you have to eat it that day. Like it can't be in the cupboard.
I like it.
Oh, you should see our cupboard. Oh my god!
Just being said, we don't
eat it.
We don't eat it. We just collect junk food.
You just collect it.
I found buttercream spread at the grocery store yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's a beaver tails spread.
Yes.
Okay.
And I brought it home and I was like, oh my god, I have to put this in our collection cupboard. I don't know if I'll have the cupboard that we're collecting all this junk.
Yeah, we got like the best cereals from everywhere, like bunch of stuff. Me and Sarah haven't missed a meal in like a year and a half.
Oh yeah.
So we like it's crazy.
That's awesome. I remember a couple years ago, I would every time I would go to a certain gym, there was a bulk bar beside that gym, and every time I go to that gym, I would collect something and bring it home. And this was during prep, and I'd put it in a little cupboard underneath my stairs, and I'd hide it away. And my God, I was sick after that show.
Well, our freezer right now, so I have this obsession with baking. And I just give it away or I put it in the freezer. So our freezer is completely plugged full of cupcakes, muffins, peanut butter cups, cheesecake deep fried egg rolls. Like, anyway.
I tried to get Alex to come down to Gladiators. And I was like, Sarah's baking goods, man.
Yeah.
I was like, she's going to have a lot of shit. You got to come do Gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds really good, actually.
But Alex probably would have won, so I'm glad he did. Whatever. But sorry, Chris, if Chris is watching this. But all right, let's see. We'll throw a couple more here. Let's see. Oh, this one goes out to both of you. Is it okay to have a gym crush?
Sure.
there's always someone there. You're like, oh yeah.
That's an odd question.
I guess, it is. I was like, this is gonna be funny.
People in the gym.
Or do you just don't even notice? I guess I could ask my wife, and she's like, "There's other people at the gym." I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of just go and get into the zone. Sometimes I'll, you peek around at different people, but most of the time I try not to because I don't like the form that I see.
Yeah, we're training at a private gym right now. There's only
that's a little. Right.
There's only 5 people training there, so if we have a crush with them, we're having like a crush on one of our friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that's a little.
Melissa is my best friend, and she was my prep wife through her prep for Atlantic. So I guess that would be my gym crush.
That'd be it. All right, one more. I guess we'll finish off with another question. One more. We'll go to kind of what you said there. If you're at a public gym and you're seeing people like just butchering something, do you if their exercise, like their form is horrible, do you approach them? Do you not? Do you bite your tongue and just be like,
So the last thing we want to do is make someone feel uncomfortable at the gym. Even if they're lifting something wrong, I don't want to be the person to discourage them from going back. If they do need help, they would communicate with us. If they want help, we would gladly give it to them. But I know for me, being a really shy kid, if someone would have came and corrected me every time, I would have never went back. I would have been so scared to go to that gym ever again. So I just never want to make someone feel that way. I want everyone to feel very, very comfortable. And even if it would help them by showing them form, at the end, it might just scare them off.
I like it.
It's either that or they feel offended.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No one likes to have.
Like for the last few years. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, no one really likes to be approached and then being told they're doing something wrong.
No, right.
Look what you're doing. You suck. Yeah.
Like with me, it usually depends on the person. If it's like a dude and he does something really silly or stupid, and he then looks at me after a set, I just grin. That's usually what I do. If it's really stupid what he has been doing, but other than that, I would never approach anybody.
No.
If they actually want to know something, they could approach me. It's usually, that's what I have been doing when I first got started, and I didn't know what to do. I just went to the biggest guy in the gym and then asked him, how do you do this or how do you do that? So.
Yeah. Also, usually if you're people that are watching, usually the biggest guys in the gym are the guys that look like they've put hours and years of work into this, are like some of the most friendliest people. So we're going to be extremely happy to be able to take a couple minutes and help out and just offer.
Unless you're 2 weeks out from the show.
Yeah, unless you're 2 weeks out. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we're going to the private gym right now. We can't talk to people.
Yeah. Leave me alone. I'm not here to talk.
I'm so dead after my sets. the other day I dragged the chair from the office room to put it next to the machine so I could sit down.
Naps in between sets.
Yeah, it's great. We still lift really heavy though.
Yeah.
Like that was a question that someone asked me. They're like, you still deadlift during prep? I'm like, yeah, I deadlift year round. Why would I stop? Like, are you going to get hurt? I'm like, I didn't get hurt any other time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I deadlift all the way. 1 week out, I do everything. Nothing changes ever. All my training stays exactly the same.
I agree with that 100%. Because I've seen the result of people changing their training once prep starts. And it's usually not for the best.
No. I actually get stronger in prep sometimes.
Yeah.
This one, it was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't change anything. I also don't change exercises either. The thing is about changing exercises, I can't track what I'm doing. So it means I can lose muscle. So I keep the workout exactly the same. I'll change everything after I'm done the show, but not for 12 weeks. I'll keep everything exactly the same.
So when it comes to keeping all your exercises the same, do you is that kind of like a standard, for even throughout the year? A lot of the stuff that you do is just, it's always the same.
No, so exercises change depending on phases, but during contest prep, just because of injury prevention and keeping the adaptation high and not creating too much unwanted muscle fatigue, because if you keep stimulating the muscle the same during the whole prep, and at the end of prep, you're still benching 3 plates, you didn't lose any muscle. But I can guarantee you, if you're benching 2 plates at the end of that prep, you lost a shitload of muscle. You know what I mean? If you lost so much.
Yeah, I've had preps where that has happened, and you can visibly see the difference.
Yeah, sure. But if you don't change your exercises, you get really comfortable with the exercises. It's very easy to hold muscle. And then sometimes you can actually build new adaptation as well. So that's how I progress in my prep and build muscle, is by really challenging myself to keep the same strength, the same volume, the same load, or even increasing it for new adaptation.
I think Alex is pretty on board with that too. Sounds like that's familiar what he said in the past. Just keeping it the same through prep.
Yeah. After you're done prep, if you want to trick your body, it's completely fine. You don't have very low body fat. Injuries not going to happen. You know what I mean? You can build new adaptation that way, but in the contest prep, it's just not, you're just too dead. It's just not worth it.
Awesome. Okay. Excellent. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or your Instagram or your coaches? Any people you want to say hi to?
Oh my God, there's a lot of people we have to say. All right, so we want to thank Jacoby because he helps me with my prep. He helps me coach Sarah as well, and he helped me with other clients as well. I feel like he's giving me an apprenticeship program, and I'm very grateful for him. We're very thankful for Guillaume, who is our training specialist on our team. He helps us with form, helps us with our training, very, very intelligent. We're very thankful to also have Maxim letting us train at his gym. He also is a specialist. The gym is called Maximum Performance. We're very thankful for our sponsor, Iron Brothers. I have a hat right there. They're very supportive. They help us out. They have great supplements.
All our clients, of course, who are extremely supportive of our journey, and any patience that they need to have with us if we're training and we don't get back to them right away. But I feel like we've been still pretty on par with getting back to everybody. Even though we say sorry for the delay, they're like, no, totally understand. So it's been going really well that way, and we have an amazing amount of support around us. Not just for this journey to nationals, but always, and we're very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, and we're probably forgetting a bunch of people. But we do appreciate every single one of you guys, and everyone to support us. The messages. I never had so much support in a prep in my whole life.
No, it's crazy.
And this is making me feel extremely confident. And and I just want to make everyone proud.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Toronto, do my best, try to get that card, try to get Sarah that card, and hopefully we end up with both a card at the same time.
Yeah.
And that would be a dream come true.
That's our goal. We set that last year, and we're gonna do it.
That's on your list.
That's on our list. Yeah. And thank you guys very much for having us.
Already, it has to happen soon.
What's that?
Considering you're ahead of schedule already, it has to happen soon.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll be taking that box off in less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For sure. And we'll both be following your journey 100%.
For sure.
Journey on too.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you too. Appreciate you. Really appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.